what are the root causes of what's causing that stress and pain? Maybe legal, it may be financial, it may be regulations. Is it in your hands or is it out of your hands? Identifying the people and the processes that you need to bring in or change.
This is Small Business Celebration, where we introduce you to successful small business owners at their place of business so that you can learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business and get your next big breakthrough. Hey Josh, our guests today, they say we need to have records. So here's a record, and here's a record, and here's a record, and here's a record.
Wrong records.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Small Business Celebration. This week we're going to be talking about, is your team secretly underperforming? Now what? We're also going to be talking about promoting from within. What's the first time manager's playbook that you need to know now? And this week our guest is Brooke and Brad Antonioni, the owners of CYA Services. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you for having us.
And for Visioneers who don't know who you are you, and what is it that you do?
So thank you for having us. We're Brooke and Brad Antonioni with CYA Services, a consulting business that provides strategic solutions, leadership, operational support, and uses the experience and education that we've had over the combined 50 years. And you can think of it as a fractional leadership approach.
For Visioneers who aren't familiar, your strength is systems and processes. For Visioneers who are getting to that point where they're starting to have multiple employees and they're starting to figure out what systems and processes are, other than I need to put it on a Post-it note and stick it on the mirror so I don't forget in the morning, what are some of the things that you help a growing business with?
Well, and we talked about before, do those processes and systems even make sense anymore? Because everything changes over time as you grow and as regulations and things change. So it's important to consider that first. So we're Lean Six Sigma trained and really focused on what makes the most sense. And sometimes it's easier for us to come from the outside
and see what somebody's doing
and
wrong.
See what somebody's doing, because they're so focused and their heads down and getting the work done,
right,
that you can't breathe and take a step back and say, does this make sense anymore?
Yeah, because we just go in and do audits to start off with. And then most small companies do like spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. So is there a program or something outside of Excel that can help you and give you the information without looking at spreadsheets?
What is something that you have done for a business that has helped them become systematically more efficient?
Yeah, sure. It's exciting, but it can also be scary too.
Right.
We come in and identify, when you're at that bubble, what software or processes or people or maybe a layered version of consultants that you need to get you past that next point. Also, you have to take into account California and
its regulations.
And all those laws and regulations. And as growing businesses, things change for you,
right?
And you more exposure and risk. So we want to make sure everybody is safe and compliant, has the software, the audit capabilities, everything that they need to cover their assets.
CYA.
Yes, literally.
Exactly.
And with that, with growth comes expenses, more expenses. So we've gone into companies where they think the selling point is this, but it's really this now because you've added 3 more people, you've added technology, you've added consulting, that kind of thing. So then their new price is this. And so if you keep on using the same pricing, then it's not going to be as successful.
And Brad is very good about just the distribution of costs and coming up with rates and for services. And your work comp can change in a heartbeat with people and vehicles and all kinds of other equipment or costs. So taking those into account is what we help do as well.
So one of the things that you help is, for example, we recently had an electrician on the show, and one of the things that he talked about is as he was starting out his business, he was an electrician. And then he hired more people and hired more people. And then somebody from the outside finally had to clue him in and inform him he's not in the electrical business anymore. He's now in the dependability business, because people know that when his team comes out, their house won't burn down. That's similar to what you guys do.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. We want to protect people. We want to be solution-based. So we help people get in the best position where they're not having to put out fires all the time or deal with legal or other things coming their way from people or the state or what have you.
Right.
So they're protected and they have the systems and processes and technology or what have you.
Yeah, so that company could run how it should be run. And when change comes, then they're going to be ready for it, and they can just keep on moving forward and be successful.
And we're pretty leadership and operational driven.
Okay.
One of the other great things being in this community and having connections is that we do connect people with other resources, like we talked about with our friend who's in technology.
Dave Milazzo, yeah.
Yes.
The former guest of the show, yes.
Yes, so at Macroscopic, and our other friend at Easeworks, who does, Kelly Steinbeck, who does payroll and HR consulting,
Really?
or other resources that we don't do, that people don't know that they're out there. So
How much of what you're doing involves artificial intelligence or AI?
pretty much, I mean, it's infused in almost everything that we do. Our twin daughters are in Denver and they're in their freshman year at DU, but looking at them going through school and looking how we went through school, and it's all throughout their education as well, and they're in gaming and coding.
Right.
So, but looking at how, learning how the professors are kind of treating how they use it and when they use it, I think you can be successful.
Yeah, it's definitely a resource, but it's not the true end of the.
It's a starting point.
It's a starting point.
Yeah.
Because you have to put stuff into it
Right.
to spit something out. Write an email might take you 30 minutes, but if you start with AI, then it takes you 5.
And if you found that your business is becoming more and more efficient because of what Brooke and Brad have done for you, might I suggest you buy a new house? And to do that, you reach out to Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield, give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. And Visioneers, if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear just like Alyssa's, who asks, we're in our 3rd year. How do I know that I'm maximizing the efficiency of my team when I can get more done with the team that I have?
I would start with audits. Audit what people are doing, what's on their individual plate. Are they being successful at their task? Are they delivering it at the quality you like, in the time frame that your customers or you expect? And don't be afraid to reconfigure or redistribute tasks. You can put stuff on different people's plates as you are in this growth mode.
Right.
And you may also identify, okay, I may need another person, or I could be more effective just with the redistribution of job duties and responsibilities.
Yeah, it also comes into they might need more training or different type of training to make them more efficient. And you have the general when you come into a new job, but then there might be something else that changes, so you need to have some additional training.
One of the horror stories that business owners sometimes happen, and it's actually more often than you realize, you hire the wrong person. And it's not that that employee is a bad employee. They're well-intentioned, they're right-hearted, they want to do a good job, but they're a square peg in the round hole, and it's your fault that you hired them to do a job that's not suited for them. How does going through your process allow the business owner to discover what that particular employee's talents are so they can be more effective and more efficient for their business?
We would first ask if they have attempted to help that person that square person fit into the round hole.
Right.
If they've given them the resources, spent the time training them. A lot of times what we find is that people promote from within, and and nobody has time to dedicate the resources or training for them, and that's not fair to anybody. But if you have extended those resources, then we work with the leadership and the employee and figure out a place that they can be most successful, where their talents can be best utilized.
So maybe them going through and doing documentation and spreadsheets isn't for them, but having them as a customer service or salesperson maybe.
Yes.
Absolutely. The person who can do the master spreadsheets and just wants to sit at their desk and everything is not necessarily always the person that you want forward facing in social and customer service based and everything else. Not saying you can't have both of those, but
Personal experience?
maybe.
But also you got to be, at one point you got to say, okay, it's just not a good fit, and then have to separate. So don't just try to keep putting them in holes and spending money on training and all these resources if it's never going to work out. So just say, sorry, but I chose the wrong person, and I wish you luck. And
hopefully you help them find a new position elsewhere.
Yeah, and just do it the right way, as far as HR and documentation and counseling and coaching and, like I said, going back to training.
And that brings us to the Visioneer Game. And the Visioneer Game is brought to you by Minimum Press of Bakersfield. Bakersfield, big news! Quick Signs is now part of Minimum Press of Bakersfield. That means you can still get the same trusted quality in signs, fleet graphics, and banners for your business, fleet, job sites, or storefront, now with the convenience of a single point of contact for all of your visibility needs. With one call, one timeline, and one standard, Minimum Press of Bakersfield has you covered from unknown to top of mind. Call 661-323-7757 or visit them at mmpbakersfield.com today. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what the random generated word is going to be, but more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has to take each of 3 words that I give them and somehow associate each word with their business. Now, you both know that if you get one word wrong, it's going to be absolute devastation for the systems and processes industry, which means that the state regulators are going to have a field day because nobody will know what they're doing, nothing will be recorded, and it'll just be absolute chaos.
This is frightening.
Are
It's
you?
a lot of pressure.
We call it fun. Okay, are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay, your first word is reveal.
I'm going to go directly to being transparent in your business and revealing everything you're doing, how often you're doing it, the quality, the frequency. Reveal all that to your customers so they feel comfortable and it improves your relationship.
Nice, that's 1 for 1. Well done. We're on a roll. Okay, your next word is cover.
cover your assets.
That was too easy, my friend. Way too easy. Okay, it all comes down to this.
Let's do
You
it.
get this one wrong, it's all
got
for
it.
that. Flush. No toilet jokes. No toilet jokes.
I wasn't going to go there. I would say flush out your processes and procedures frequently to see if they make sense and if they're still applicable to what you're doing and what you're supposed to be doing and how your employees are doing, especially as you grow, which is the end goal. Flush out unnecessary process.
Nice! 3 for 3. Nice. Well done, both of you. You have saved the world. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now that you have saved the world and had this life-changing appearance on Small Business Celebration, who would you like to thank?
We would like to thank a lot of people here, just locally, but Lizette Gomez was the one that introduced us again to...
Made you come back.
Yeah, made us come back.
Because you guys were episode, I have no idea.
We're proud Visioneers. and now a double appearance.
And Lizette made you come back.
Encouraged us to come back, yeah.
Gave us the opportunity.
How'd you two meet her?
I don't even know how long ago it was, but we met through mutual friends and also with her business that she owns with the employment agency.
Right, Cazador Consulting. Yeah.
Cazador Consulting. We worked back and forth with her and developed a friendship, and are still friends today. And I really appreciate her involvement in the community and what she does and her leadership. And she's very involved in the women's business conference and lots of other organizations, and she's doing good work, and we appreciate her friendship.
And that brings us to our second Visioneer question, which is also brought to you by Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Visioneer Craig asks, our business is expanding and we're planning to promote from within and establish managers for the first time. What guidelines should we establish to train these new managers and build leadership capacity?
It's exciting when anybody grows, but you really want to focus on doing it the right way.
How so?
You fill that position with another quality person, because through experience we've promoted somebody, trained somebody, or that person trained, and things get lost in the gaps. So then you stop doing processes, procedures, and because then they just go off and do what they think is right instead of following up. So it's great that you promote, but you got to make sure that the position that they promoted you from is still.
How do you do that? Do you literally give that newly promoted manager a pad of paper and a pen and say, write down everything you're currently doing and how you did it?
Well, that should have been done before, when you
Yeah.
job.
But I'm just promoting somebody today. I've never done this before.
Yeah, I mean, it is keeping good roles and responsibilities is important, and those will change over time.
Right.
So you can't just do it once and expect that if I pass on my stuff to Brad and move up. So you've got to cover it in all the different areas, and so it's important for the person that you're promoting that you give them the right amount of time and training and tools to do their job, but that you also spend that same time with the person that is filling his or her position. And we truly believe in mirroring and spending time making sure that they are being coached
Right.
and supported along the way. It's critical, again, I'm going to go back to California, but is start with HR training. I really feel like the majority of people don't have ill intention of saying or doing or directing people to do, something against a regulation or law. It's just they don't know what not to say or what are the rules. So start with equipping people, especially if they're moving up into supervisory or managerial leadership positions, that they have that. And I would also start with using the resources in our backyard or in anybody's backyard, whatever community, that you're in. There's chambers that offer lots of training. There's law firms that have monthly lunch and learns. There's your universities, BC and Cal State, Bakersfield here, that have extended universities. They may be just like 6 or 8 week programs that are really, really helpful as far as leadership goes. And then you have obviously consultants too. So start small, don't overwhelm the person with all that, because they're going into a new role and responsibilities anyways. So it could be overwhelming. So start small, but start with HR. Make sure that everybody is supported in the transition, the person that's moving up and the person that's, moving into their position.
And I think a big part of it is the next step is audits. I've been talking audits the whole time, but go back in 2 weeks, a month, a quarter,
and see how they're doing.
Make sure they're doing it right.
Yeah.
Or maybe they might have found some other way to do it that's even better.
Right.
So then you just go do audits to confirm that they're doing all the areas that they're supposed to do.
I mean, we have been guilty of a situation where we've promoted people and the person that moved in to the next position forgot that there was one spreadsheet to monitor or,
Right.
Things like that. And again, it wasn't anybody's intentional apart.
Who ordered these 1,000 pallets of golf balls?
Yeah, that's right.
There's also another trap to watch out for business owners who are doing this, which is you've promoted the manager, they're training the new person, their replacement, or their successor, and what sometimes happens is they go through and say, okay, the boss says to do this, 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 and this, but in reality, yeah, you don't need to do this. Just do that instead. Problem is, there's a whole lot of other things that ricochet off of that. How do you help when the manager or the business owner is going through and doing that audit, that the steps in the process really are followed, and just because this one person did things differently, it may not work for their successor?
It's very important for people to understand the why. Like, why am I doing this? And it's okay to ask questions. I encourage it as a leader, for you to say, Brooke, this doesn't make sense. And then for me to be able to say, well, it may not to you, but this, and this, and this is why we do it.
Right.
Now, if you can find a better way or suggest a better way, totally open to that. As long as there's a purpose behind what people are doing and they understand that, then you're going to get the buy-in.
And that's part of the training at the beginning, to say, this is why we do this. This is why we do that. So then they can understand, and then I say, well, question, why am I doing this?
Right.
Because down the road, you're going to say, dang, I wish I had that.
Right.
Yeah, no one wants to do trivial or not, meaningful tasks or responsibilities.
That's what AI is for.
Yeah, right. And so if again, everybody being on the same page, and I'm going to say audit again. So it would be, your responsibility as a leader to go through and make sure that there's no gaps in the transition process with people.
It's no secret that there's a lot of business owners right now who are struggling. What do you say to the business owner who is having a difficult time, and let them know that it'll be all right?
I think we both agree, surround yourself with good people, friends and consultants, people who can provide you with guidance and support and remind you that it is going to be okay, and just be aggressive and keep at it.
Sit back and look at what you're doing to make sure that you're doing it right too, and say, am I doing this, or how can I change, or what can I bring to the table that's different to make sure that I can continue to grow. And
yeah, what are the root causes of what's causing that stress and pain? Maybe legal, it may be financial, it may be regulations. Is it in your hands or is it out of your hands? Identifying the people and the processes that you need to bring in or change is the focus.
What do you tell your daughters when they're having a bad day?
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
yeah, tell them to do something fun. Take a break, read a book,
Take a walk.
go work out, do something that they enjoy.
Brooke, Brad, this has been a real treat. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you.
Thank you for making us cry at the end with that question.
And if Visioneers want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Thank you for having us. And if you want to contact CYA Services for a resource or connections, you can find us on social media at LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and our website is cyaservicesinc.net.
And I'll be right back with my final thought. To become sophisticated quickly is to admit your ignorance. To become sophisticated quickly is to admit your ignorance. There's this real estate agent that I know. I met him 3 years ago at a business mixer. And I remember the first day that I met him, because to say he was rough around the edges, that's an understatement. It was one of those really hot and humid, muggy Augusts in Bakersfield. And when he came to the mixer, it was clear and evident he had been pounding the pavement hard all day long. He had sweat through that suit multiple times already. And when he went around and he was determined to talk to every single person there. He was going to let them know that he was their agent. He was the guy that was going to be able to sell their house for the most amount of money for them. And as one might expect, the conversation that he had with each of these people didn't go very well that evening. We fast forward to a couple weeks ago, and he's a lot different now, that's for sure. His suits are much better now. He doesn't look like one of these guys that sweat through it several times during the day. And one of the other things that I also noticed is that when he went around from conversation to conversation, he would always talk with them in terms of topics that they were interested. And the thing that I thought was so fascinating was it didn't matter who he was talking to. He always found something that they were interested, and then they would just drill down on that topic and talk about the depth of knowledge that just let your head spin. I took him aside and congratulated him on his growth, and I asked him, how did he learn so much so quickly? And he paused for a moment, and he gave a twinkle in his eye, and he smiled and said, Michael, to become sophisticated quickly is to admit your ignorance. Meaning, if I don't know about something, I ask, and then I learn, and as I learn, I know. And I thought about that for a moment, and I said, you've learned a lot quickly. And he smiled, and he gave me a light tap on the back, and he says, I'm also number 6 in volume of sales in the county. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough.